Batman Superman, the world's finest 2024 annual, heads into the 5th dimension where Mr. Mxyzptlk assembles the Just Us League, trying to bring them to order. Batmite screams at the heroes to show some order, making them all, of course, think that he's taking orders for food. Mxyzptlk hopes that they can curb their fanboy impulses for just 1 minute as he has something important to discuss. Batmite asks which hero is the coolest, setting off everyone into an argument. The argument turns into a fight, so Mxyzptlk gets on with the meeting all the same, telling his friends that there is a dark storm coming for them, and if they don't rally, they won't survive it. Canary Might eventually silences them all with a scream, and the team realize that they kind of destroyed their headquarters. Mxyzptlk tries to tell them that they are all in danger, but Green Might is hit by an arrow and killed. The mini Legion of Doom attack, battering the heroes around the hall as a monstrous voice thinks that their debates over heroes are so meaningless. And while their heroes are clearly inspirational, they are nothing more without their villains. Villains who actually define the heroes. Mxyzptlk escapes through a portal, telling the team that he tried to warn them. He pulls Batmite through with him as the villain tells them to flee, but he cannot escape him since he knows where they are going, and he will provide the ultimate test to determine who the world's greatest hero is, and only then will he destroy the rest of them. In Metropolis, after the battle with New Mazo, Metamorpho heads back to Stagg Industries, reuniting with Sapphire and unfortunately the very much alive Simon Stagg, who has Java fly them all to Markovia, which is owned by a family friend. He tells Rex that a recent flare-up on the nation's volcano revealed an ancient temple said to contain the Hammer of Vulcan, and because of its proximity to the lava, only Metamorpho and his abilities can get close enough to get it for him. Metamorpho gets to work diving through the dangerous lava as he remembers how he got his powers. He also remembers how he was an archaeologist just like his father, the legendary Montana Mason. However, unlike Rex, he was in it for the academia of it all, not the fortune and glory. Montana gets into a fight with his son about this, causing Rex to storm off. Rex remembers how once he gained his superpowers, he never heard from his father again, guessing he didn't want anything to do with the monster that he had become. Simon breaks Rex out of his thought process, asking him if he's found the hammer yet. Metamorpho makes his way through the various traps and pitfalls of the temple, assuring Stagg that his bank account will be bigger in no time. Rex is worried though, since some of the traps seem to have been set off already, meaning that someone or something has made it through before him. He soon finds what he's looking for as he discovers a being in an old diver suit has found the hammer before him. Rex turns his communicator off thanks to the interference from the volcano as he confronts the being, who runs off with the hammer. Metamorpho gives chase, attacking the suit with his diamond hands that he pushes an electrical current through, shattering the suit's faceplate. Rex, however, is shocked to find the man inside the suit is his father Montana. He cools the air around him with dry ice so his father can breathe in the atmosphere, asking what he's doing down there. Montana says that he's stopping people like Rex from getting this artifact, but Rex thinks that he is still a good guy. Montana wonders about Stagg though, but Rex assures him that he keeps him in check, but it's complicated since he's in love with Stagg's daughter Sapphire. Montana thinks that he is too soft-hearted like his mother, and he has no concept of the greater good or can make the right sacrifices. Rex doesn't think his father understands his life one bit, and he was following in his father's footsteps after all. Montana does understand what his son has been through, but asks if his true love will choose him over her family when push comes to shove. He refuses to be talked out of handing over the hammer, so Rex will have to fight him for it. He closes his diver suit, telling his son to make his choice. Later on, however, Metamorpho returns to Simon, telling him the hammer was swallowed up by the lava. Simon isn't too happy that he couldn't get it despite his amazing abilities, finding Rex is just another disappointment. The group head back to the jet and Sapphire tells Rex not to listen to her father since he doesn't mean anything of what he says, since after all, Rex is practically family. In Midway City, Karen Beecher learns from her Aunt Birdie about how to solder things properly. Birdie knows that she's been putting her skills to good use, practicing them on her side projects as Jason comes by, thinking that their basement is beginning to resemble an electronics store, not a workshop. Birdie thinks it's all thanks to these Buckland computers that she's had to fix for people around the neighborhood. Jason understands and has another job for them, hoping they can help his daughter. He shows Birdie his daughter's prosthetic leg, noting its shoddy workmanship, but Buckland Mart prosthetics were all his insurance would cover. He knows his daughter could have been severely hurt by its failure, and he hopes that Birdie can fix it as the insurance won't cover a replacement. Birdie wonders how this is even legal, and Jason thinks that Buckland Mart has been a plague on the city since they opened. Birdie wishes that someone would actually do something, since it's like no one cares they are selling faulty products, and Karen, under her breath, thinks that maybe someone will do something. Later on, Karen heads home from school and she runs into Kevin, having not seen her friend for a while thanks to the news station keeping him busy. However, he says he's getting sick and tired of taking everyone's coffee orders. Karen tells him about the shady Buckland Mart products, something that Kevin is aware of, but substantial claims are needed for the story to break. Karen doesn't understand how their community being taken advantage of isn't enough, coming up with an idea to get more evidence. Kevin recognizes the look on Karen's face, and the woman takes off to start her new project. The next day, Karen swiftly heads out of the house, dodging Birdie's questions as she heads to the Buckland headquarters, using her modified TV remote to access the loading dock doors. Inside, she overhears two workers talking about how the scientists in R&D almost burned down the building, which is why they had their HVAC system upgraded. Karen decides to check out these labs, using the new HVAC ducts to crawl through to the labs. In the labs below, she sees two scientists talk about Project Sonic Sentry, Buckland's new surveillance project that turns their products into listening devices. Karen unleashes one of her buzzy bots, which flies down into the lab to capture footage of the scientists talking of the project. Their boss comes in, asking on the progress, and he learns that customers will be allowed to get their faulty computers fixed for free, which is when they will install the listening devices. Their boss knows that the board members of Stag Industries will be very happy, as bigger plans ride on this working. The buzzy bot gets the attention of a scientist who sees Karen hiding in the vent above. Karen escapes back through the vents, chased down by some workers until she is cornered in the loading bay. She activates the wings hiding in her backpack, and thanks to the new soldering she was able to do on them, they stay intact this time. Karen flies towards the rapidly closing loading dock, making it outside just in time. Later on, Karen visits Kevin, giving him info on the secret surveillance project Buckland is running. She hopes that he'll do what is needed to be done, since Buckland is treating their community like guinea pigs. Kevin thanks her for it, owing her greatly, but Karen is only interested in exposing Buckland. Later, the news exposes Buckland's legal activities as Jason comes by the workshop, finding Karen putting the final touches on his daughter's prosthetic leg. The news mentions an anonymous winged vigilante helped expose Buckland, and Jason wonders who that could be. Birdie has some ideas, finding herself proud of whoever it is. She keenly eyes Karen, hoping the hero knows that they have the full support of the community. In another time and place, Kyle Ace Morgan brings his and his crew's plane into a violent crash landing on top of a snowy mountain. Somehow Ace and the passengers all survive. Red asks what time it is, and looking at his watch, Ace finds that it has stopped. In the present, Ace is brought back to reality by his team, the Challengers of the Unknown, who ask where they go now. Ace tells him they go forward, and June understands that is their whole thing, but wants them to hold up for a second, since the super collider on the other side of the door in front of them has ripped into space-time, and even between herself, Ultivac, and the Professor, they haven't been able to solve the problem. Prof agrees with June, since they could all be exposed to something fatal if they go in, but June believes that it's even worse than that, and they have no idea what is on the other side of that big door. Ace reminds her that that's the entire point of this, and there is no such thing as more time, and it's why Batman sent them. Rocky thinks that Batman sent them because he couldn't handle it himself, but Ace believes it's because they can handle it. He moves towards the door, pulling on its giant handle and opening the super collider, revealing the cosmic horrors which lie inside. Dr. Elias, the man who activated the collider originally, calls for help, as Red finds it funny that they had some vacation days coming up and they should have taken them. Ace asks for a time check, and the Challengers tell him the time is now, stepping into the dark void. Ace knows that time is always now, but Red was right, and they were supposed to be on vacation back when their plane crashed. The team sprint into the collider, beginning to feel the effects as they see their own brains and eyes become separated from their bodies. June asks Ultivac to recalibrate their sensory outputs, and the robot blasts the team with lasers, reorientating themselves within their own bodies. Prof gets readings of a gravitational wave which is tearing through reality, imploring the team they need to shut down the device now. Red leaps towards the center as Ace rescues Dr. Elias, planning on getting him out of there. Red finds the collider magnets, trying to disable them as Elias warns them that they need to shut down the collider beam, but they can't shut it down through its own system controls, and if it continues, the other dimension the collider opened to will merge with theirs and tear each other apart. June believes that they are out of time, leaping into the beam to disrupt it. She tells Ace the time is now, closing the beam as the team all escape, leaving June behind. Later on, Ace mourns the death of June, knowing that none of them should actually be there, so now they devote every moment to facing the unknown. But this time he was too mission focused and saw all the moments as tasks, when really every moment is a gift. Suddenly June walks into the office, not understanding how she's alive. However, she woke up on Challenger's mountain. As she reveals that she found their plane crash, she tells Ace that she wasn't with them when they first crashed there, but seeing firsthand what they all survived and what she had just survived in the super collider, she finally understands why they do what they do. Ace hugs her, thinking they need that vacation, but June doesn't think they can, since they need to get back to work.